In this video, we're talking about how to avoid dumb decisions. This week, I saw a video of a guy who catches a fish, takes a picture of the fish, and instead of throwing the fish back in the water, he throws his phone in the water. I saw a professional athlete make a mental error so big that even a little leaguer would know better. I read an article where a surgeon amputated the wrong foot. I also read an article where a renowned musician was in such a hurry that he left his $100,000 cello in the back of a New York taxi cab. Now, before we go and point the finger at these people and laugh at these dumb decisions, I want to ask you, have you ever sent a text that you regretted sending the moment you hit send? Have you ever said something that the moment it left your mouth, you knew you were going to pay for it? Or have you ever done something in the past that you still cringe at to this day? Today we're talking about dumb decisions. Now, every one of our videos, we talk about what we can do to increase the odds of success, increase the odds of effectiveness, increase the odds of productivity. But what we're going to look at today are things that decrease the odds of success, decrease the odds of thinking clearly. What we're going to call them are dumb thinking traps. Those traps that we get caught in that cause us to make dumb decisions that we end up regretting. And then we're going to talk about how to avoid these traps. So, trap number one, focusing on the uncontrollable. I know we talk about focusing on what you can control almost every video, and you can see there's a pattern. It must be important, but when we focus on things we can't control, we leave ourselves susceptible to making bad decisions. Other people, the weather, poor officiating, the referees, the past, the future. When you constantly focus on things you can't control, once again, you increase your odds of making a dumb decision. Number two, jumping to conclusions. It's very easy to make huge assumptions based on little to no information. It seems like it's even easier these days because of social media. If you are quick to jump to conclusions, especially when you're emotionally triggered, you are susceptible to making a dumb decision. Trap number three, rushing. You and I know that when you're in a hurry to do something, when you're in a hurry to finish something, you're susceptible to forgetting important information, missing important relevant cues. The faster you go, the more likely you are to make dumb decisions. Trap number four is information overload. We've all seen this before where you're trying to give somebody a long to-do list and they only remember a couple things. Or your teacher, your parent telling you to do something and they give you this long laundry list of things to execute, things to do, and you can't remember any of them. Or if you, let's say, have you ever had this where you read something and you go, when you're done reading it, you think, what did I just read? Sometimes we get so caught up in all the information that we miss the important relevant cues. Trap number five is the presence of others. We have this natural tendency to want to show how smart we are, want to show how great we are, show off, be inclined to impress others. And so when other people are watching us perform, act, sing, speak, whatever it may be, doing a task, your boss, a parent, a friend, an audience, a crowd, a lot of times we're so focused on what other people think about us. We're so focused on how we're being judged by other people that we make dumb decisions. We're not focused on the task at hand. We're not focused on our training. We're not focused on the here and now. We're more focused on what others are thinking about us. Trap number six is uncertainty, something we are all familiar with. When you have no idea what the future holds, whether it's next week, the next month, or the next year, we are susceptible to making dumb decisions because we don't know. We're trying to grab on to things that we can control. We're jumping to conclusions. We're making these assumptions. We're trying to do everything we can to make sense of this mush of uncertainty that we have. And as we do that, we're not thinking clearly, we're a little bit scared, we're a little bit panicked, and we're more likely to make decisions that we later regret. Trap number seven, a new environment. When you go to a new school, have a new job, you're in a new neighborhood, a new situation, it's easy to fall into traps of making bad decisions. Why? Because you're not familiar with it. You haven't built any routines. You haven't built any new high performance habits. And so having a new routine, starting from fresh, having a new environment, it's very easy to make bad decisions. And finally, trap number 8 is halt P. It's kind of a meta trap. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and in pain. If you find yourself experiencing any or multiple of these states, you are susceptible to making a bad decision. Once again, hungry, we all know what that's like. Angry, lonely, tired, or in pain. When you're experiencing these emotions, these states, it's hard, it's difficult. You all know what it's like. You might experience what you know what it feels like to be hangry when you're angry because you're hungry. You know what it's like when you're in so much pain and how short your temper is. You know what you're willing to do when you're lonely or when you're tired. You make a lot of decisions that you later regret. So once again, that is the final trap on increasing your odds to make dumb decisions. So we took a look at all the traps that lead to dumb decision making. So you might be asking, okay, so how do I increase the likelihood of making good decisions, or how do I avoid these traps? All we have to do is look at the opposite of each one of these traps. Starting with number 1, instead of focusing on what you can't control, we've said it many times before, focus on what you can control. Trap number 2, jumping to conclusions. Make sure you gather as much evidence as you can, as much information as you can. Check your emotions. Know when you're a little bit angry. Know when you're a little bit frustrated. And be able to understand that and take that into account so you can see, okay, what state am I in as I'm making these decisions? Third trap we talked about is rushing. One thing to overcome that is to slow down. How do you do it? Try taking a deep breath. Slow on an inhale and really slow on the exhale. Doing that simple act will help you pump the brakes and to be fully present. The fourth trap we discussed is information overload. To combat that, slow things down. Take the information and organize it as much as you can. Write it down. Repeat it back to the person. Do whatever you can to organize this information so that you know what is relevant and the things that you need to ignore. The fifth trap we discussed is performing in the presence of others. In that one, you need to really look within yourself and lose yourself with the task at hand. If you see your mind wandering and thinking and considering, what does that person think about me? What is that person gonna say? Catch yourself and bring it right back to the present, right back to what you are doing right here, right now. We talked about uncertainty. Number 6, there are so many things you are uncertain about. What you can do, and it also leads to number 7, a new environment, get a routine. Get a routine as fast as you can. A routine can help you feel like you have a sense of control, like you're in the driver's seat of your situation. Even if there's uncertainty, even if you're in a new environment, gain control or gain a sense of certainty by attaching yourself to high performance habits as quickly as you can. And the last trap we talked about is HALT P. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and in pain. If you're experiencing any one of those 5 things, really pause and ask yourself, what can I do to solve each one of these things? And even if you can't eliminate it completely, what can you do to turn down the volume of that hunger? Turn down the volume of that anger, loneliness, tiredness, or pain. You might not eliminate it completely, but what can you do to turn it down just a little bit to help you think clearly to make better decisions? Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And if you want to know when the next video comes out, please click the bell so that you will be alerted right when we release it. Head down to the comment section and I want to know which trap tangles you up the most. Which one tangles you up the most, and what are you going to do to overcome it next time? Thanks for joining me, guys.